We the people rise up and solve the great
after
challenges of our
you
time.
start up.
We do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
It is a free solution on WYSL in Rochester. Who is this guy, you say? It is Craig Miles. I am happy to be back with you. It has been a while. How long has it been? It's been a couple months at least, I think. People have been busy. I've been busy. It's been quite a summer, huh? Wow. I don't know how we're making it through. It seems like every day there's some crisis that's going to end the world. And the only people that can fix it are people that you've never seen before in person, never talked to. They don't even know you exist, but they're the only ones that can fix all of the turmoil in your life. They live in Albany and they live in DC. And they tell you every night on the nightly news at 7, they say, I've got to fight this other guy that lives 2,000 miles from you. And we're fighting wars over, like 6,000 miles away across an ocean. And those guys, they're pretty bad too. And you know what? I'm really the only good guy, and you need to ally yourself with me no matter what. Otherwise, you're a bad person. You don't want to be like those other people, do you? You've got morals. You've got, principles. You got to defend those no matter what. Well, I mean, I kind of got it. Well, actually, I no, those really aren't that important. You just have to swear loyalty to me. Am I exaggerating? I don't think I am. If you are on the left or you are on the right and you uncritically follow these things, it's very easy to go rah team and fall in line. I think, honestly, for as bad as I've seen a lot of folks fall into that trap, into that rut, whatever you want to call it, I do see a lot of folks that are saying, wait a minute. It seems like every 2 years, every 4 years, these people tell me the same things. I vote for them. And then I don't hear from them until they want to send me a campaign email that says, hey, I'm running again because that evil guy that you had to stop before, he's still evil and he's still going and I still need some money. It's that Bernie Sanders meme, right? I am once again asking for your financial assistance. Once again. Am I going to fix anything? No, because then I wouldn't be able to ask you for money to fix it. It really is that simple, honestly. I've got a few things I want to talk about today that illustrate all of this. And you say, okay, so what's your excuse, or what's not your excuse, but what's your solution, Mr. Smarty Pants? What makes you so much better? What makes your ideas so much better than the guy 2,000 miles away? I don't have the answers to your life. That's what makes me better. I don't want to try to impose my idea of what is right for your life on you. And I don't want to exploit all of the things that I can to force a way of life upon you or to make you act a certain way that I want to make you act. That's what makes me better. I'm sorry. This is coming across as, pompous. I don't want to sound pompous. I'm defending myself from any critics that might say, but Craig, it's easy to say, but what would you do? I'd leave people alone. That's what I'd do. That's what a lot of third parties want to do. And that's the topic for today, is we see all of this turmoil every single day. And we see the same people get up and tell us, you got to vote for my team. You got to vote for, you got to vote for my team. Otherwise, the other guy is going to make your life miserable. It'd be better off to just die. That's how bad it's going to be if you don't vote for me. Every 2 years they get up and do it. And every 2 years, your life gets worse. Tell me, call in right now and tell me if you feel like you're in a better place now than you were 10 years ago. And it's not Democrats and it's not Republicans. It's the duopoly. It's the system. There is one choice, and that system continues continues to take away your happiness, your prosperity, your freedom. It takes all those things away from you. And then it demands that you be happy about it. It demands that you say, well, it could be worse. I'm glad it was just this. I could be dead. I could be in jail. I could be in prison. I mean, at least it's only giving away 2/3 of my income to taxes by the time you take all the taxes into account. At least it's only that. At least it's only being locked in my house. How about we have some real solutions? How about we talk about what the real problems are in New York State? How about we listen to the people that are having the problems? And how about we actually do something about what they say? Because we pay lip service to people all the time. We listen, oh yeah, the poors, they're in bad shape. That's bad shape, rough. You know what we'll do? We'll make it impossible for them to support themselves because we'll tax and license them so heavily that they won't even bother trying to get a job. We'll make sure that it is very nice and looks good to be able to be on welfare. We'll keep them there so that we can keep handing them a check, keep them voting for us. That'll be good. And then also all these crime bills. I mean, there's way too much crime. Well, we're not going to go after the people that have money because they got lawyers. They can fight us. We'll go after the poor people. We'll police them. Oh, but I care about lives. I care about lives of the downtrodden. As I live in quote unquote upstate New York, just outside the city in my fancy home. And I got a posse around me everywhere I travel. And if I'm the governor, I go on and make big speeches with all the local people that I've paid money to. And I live the life. And I love it. And it's all for you. And thank the Lord that I'm here for the little man. Because without me, who knows what your life would be like? Yeah, people act like that's a bad thing. People act like not knowing what your life is going to be like is a bad thing. That's a huge opportunity. Because, okay, knowing that your life is going to be a certain way, waking up, waiting to see what you're allowed to do on the television. What bill are they going to pass? What are they going to say I can do? When am I going to get my check, my Trump check? Everyone blames this inflation on Biden, but don't forget, Trump was the one that put the $3 trillion out there, just printed it out of thin air. So they're all guilty of it. They all buy your votes. But you know what you're getting, right? Oh, I'm getting that check. I'm getting this. I'm getting that. Yeah, but it's scraps. Okay, you're getting it. If we didn't look so closely and follow so closely policies of Washington or of Albany, the freedom that comes with that is amazing because you do have the chance of failing, but you do have the chance of great success. And if you put half of the energy that you spend watching national politics or trying to get the right senator in there or the right governor or the right whatever, if we spent half of the passion and the energy on building local relationships, on building local communities that we spend on stuff like that, we'd be in such good shape. I don't even need numbers. You can just think about it. If you spent half the energy that you spend on Facebook fighting with the other side, whatever that is, and you put that into going out and having a conversation with your neighbor or talking to your mayor or seeing an issue in your town and saying, hey, what can I do about that? If you spend half the time doing that stuff, or I spent half the time doing that stuff, because I'm not blameless in this. If we all spent half of the energy putting it into our local communities that we spend putting into national politics and things that ultimately don't affect us and only give power to people who don't care anything about you, we would have a great system. We would have a lot of great systems, all tailored to local communities, all tailored to help you out so that when you did take that great leap because you don't know what your life is going to be like, you'd have a community there to pick you up if you fell. and to support you if you succeeded. What's so scary about that? That sounds amazing to me. I feel like we could get there pretty easily. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I've got a few things that I want to talk about after the break, specifically to illustrate all these points. The hot topic, a little teaser for you, is the FBI raid, right? On Donald Trump. And wasn't he president like 3 years ago? What they wanted to get rid of him. I say the establishment. That's what I mean. The establishment wanted to get rid of him. The Dems wanted to get rid of him. Say, thank God when we don't have to turn on the television and hear about Trump anymore. Could you imagine what a great, to just forget about that guy and move on? Is that what they're doing? No. That's all they talk about is that guy. Why is that relevant? Why did we raid his ranch? I'm sorry, not his ranch, his golf club, whatever it is. Why did we do that? It's political. That's all it is. It's a dog and a pony show to distract you from the fact that you can't buy food, that gasoline is twice as expensive as it used to be, that this whole COVID regime was nonsense. They admit it now. The CDC just rolled back the guidelines. It's all a distraction. It's all a show. It's all for your benefit and entertainment-wise, but for their benefit, meal ticket-wise. I'll discuss more of that coming up after the break on A Free Solution on WYSL in Rochester. Craig Miles, thank you so much for joining.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Hey, this is Kevin Wilson, host of A Free Solution. You ever need a tool for just one project, but didn't want to spend the cash for something you'd use just once or twice? Well, there's a new tool library in Rochester where you can borrow just the thing you need instead of buying a new one. It's called the Tool Shed from the Southeast Area Coalition, and membership starts at just $25 a year. Use it for home projects or to support your business. Learn more and become a member at seektoolshed.org. That's SEAC toolshed.org.
Only available in the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com. Official top quality tees, hoodies, and coffee mugs depicting the colorful WYSL logo or the already famous Mount Worstmore line of merch depicting Mount Rushmore style are for worst presidents. Of course, you know who is front and center up on that mountain. WYSL official items make perfect gifts, or they're a great way for you to make a personal statement. Locally produced and sold only in the WYSL store at WYSL1040.com.
A free solution on the WYSL stations.
We are back on WYSL, A Free Solution. My name is Craig Miles. Thank you so much for tuning in today on this lovely Monday afternoon. It is a lovely Monday afternoon. And it's fall time. I'm going to say that. I know it's the middle of August, but I'm all about fall. I'm drinking my Utica coffee right here. It's a pumpkin spice. I'm not ashamed. You could call me basic. But I'm all about fall. And one of the best parts of fall is the elections, right? November elections. We got the midterms coming up. We've also got a gubernatorial race coming up. A historic one. It'll be the first gubernatorial race in 80 some odd years where the only options you have are the Democrats and the Republicans. There will be no third parties on the ballot this year because Larry Sharp continues to go to court and continues to drop literally hundreds of thousands of dollars jumping through hoops to be able to get a name on a piece of paper so that you can vote for him. He spent over $300,000, well over it at this point, trying to get petitions to get on the ballot and also trying to fight in the aftermath to get a name on the ballot. And the court in Albany just ruled last week, nope, not important to have a third choice. And who brought the lawsuit? It was the Conservative Party in New York State, which is that's not a real party in New York State. That's a Republican shill party. That's not a thing. Same thing as the Working Families Party. So there are third parties on the ballot. I guess I was wrong. This will be the first time in 80 some odd years that there's only two candidates to vote for. You can vote for them on a couple different lines. You know, what's that whole illusion of choice thing? People still believe it. I'll show them. I'll vote for him. What does that even mean? That is nonsense. That's ridiculous. The Conservative Party in New York State sued Larry Sharp because they didn't want a third choice. They didn't want someone to rub their face in the carpet and show them that they've been garbage for the past 20 years, just like the Republicans. They haven't won anything. I'm not sorry for saying this stuff. I was a Republican. I voted for Astorino back when he ran. I don't know, 2 elections ago or whenever it was. This is why I'm so frustrated. Because Republicans and conservatives in New York State have been taking advantage of their voters for 20 years now and asking them to thank them for it. Making them go out there on the front lines and carry their banner because we got to beat the Democrat. I'm going to make a Game of Thrones reference. There's a scene, and it's been years since I watched it because I watched the last couple of seasons, and then that was the end of it for me. I ruined it. But there's a scene in one of the seasons where they're talking about, well, how are we going to win this war? And whoever's talking, I don't know if it was one of the Baratheons or if it was the Onion Knight or whoever, but they're like, war is all about bodies, and we got plenty of bodies. We'll just keep throwing bodies at them. We got more bodies. They can't possibly overcome us. That's the elected officials, quote unquote, in New York State and nationally. They sit at their tables, their war rooms, pushing the pieces around, figuring out how to squeeze enough voters, how to get them to turn out. What do they care about? What are those wedge issues that's going to get my base out there, get them to vote for me? And you might think this is a ridiculous, to compare this to war. You're like, oh, that's a little bit hyperbolic. People die in war. People die by making terrible choices for when they believe, and not wrongly. I mean, wrongly believing, yes, but I don't blame them for believing these politicians. These politicians, they sell them a promise. And every single time they renege on a promise, they say, nope, not going to do it. Sorry. So when I make the war analogy, it's literally a war analogy because a bunch of people voted for Biden because he's a Democrat. I mean, Democrats like healthcare, right? Healthcare for all. That's what we're going to do. He just did a bunch of stuff with the FDA and insulin that now makes it harder for people to get insulin because it was a Trump era policy that made insulin cheaper. Well, I can't have that. Orange man bad. Also, Uncle Joe gets a bunch of money from pharmaceutical companies. So you think he's going to try to cut into their bottom line? No, he's not going to. I voted for him because I thought I wanted free healthcare. And now my insulin is twice as much. And I'll probably die. The Republicans did, or the Democrats did that to you. It's literally a war game. They say, how many bodies can we get out there? How many voters can we lie to? How many of them can we send out on the front lines and carry our banner? Get them to defend us staunchly. It's really, it's pernicious. It's horrible because you have people that live and die by this. Not only in reality, but figuratively as well. They hang their lives on whether Donald Trump is going to win or whether Hillary Clinton is going to win. Remember all those videos of all the people crying when Hillary, the war criminal, lost? When that horrible, horrible person lost? People were crying because they were invested, because they believed she was the change. She was not the change. She was just another symptom of the system. And this is what frustrates me so much about all of it, is we act like these people are our friends. We act like these officials actually know us or care about us, but they don't. They don't care about you at all. And we continue to believe, and we continue to go and fight on the front lines and die for these people. Bleed. Larry always says, bleed with me, right? We bleed with them. We go out there and we talk about how they're the chosen one. They're going to turn everything around. They're going to fix the system. It's going to do this or that. But they're part of the system. Uncle Joe's been in politics for 50 years. Trump was an outsider. I'll give him that. And he did a lot of good things. Did a lot of things I don't agree with. I sound like a conservative when I say that, but it's not even that. It's the fact that you've got to admit when policies are helpful. And he had a couple policies that were helpful. He had a couple that weren't. Like when he banned bump stocks out of the blue for no reason. I mean, government gonna government. They can't not take it, some things. So you've got these people in the war room pushing the chess pieces around, saying how many bodies I'm going to put out there. I got news for you, Republicans. You don't have enough bodies. There's not enough bodies to throw out there on the front line to defeat Kathy Hochul. You don't have enough Republicans here. There's 3 Democrats for every 1 Republican. And you can't ship in Republicans from out of state. You can't do that. Not to vote for governor. You don't have help. You don't have enough people. The Democrats, Kathy Hochul is just going to say abortion. And everyone's going to go out and vote for her. All the Democrats, they're going to pile their bodies on top of one another and they're going to suffocate the Republicans. It's statistically impossible for Republicans to win in New York in a statewide race. It's not going to happen. Hasn't happened for 20 years. Not going to happen this year. The only opportunity you have to take away the power that these people have is to go with a third option. Go with a third party. Why do you think the conservatives fought to keep Larry off the ballot? Because it's not about helping you. It's about saving their meal ticket. They don't want a third option because in the end, the left and the right are the same thing in New York State. Maybe they talk a little bit differently, but what's been going on for the past 20 years? The same old, same old. You know how everything's going to go. There's a shooting. Oh, we're going to lose our guns. You know, something isn't working right. Well, we'll just throw more money at it. That's literally the answer in New York. Has been for 20 years. With both parties in power. What's changed? Nothing. You have to vote against these people, which is why they've made it impossible to vote against them. Unless you write in the ballot. Unless you write in Larry Sharp's name on the ballot. That is the only vote for change this year. That's why they're fighting so hard to keep him off of that. He spent $300,000 so far exclusively to get on the ballot. And he can't do it. So it's time for a different approach. Everybody writes his name on there. They can't ignore it, right? Democrats, Republicans, left, right. Everyone will vote for Larry. Nobody will vote for the other side. It's a part of the identity. They can't do it. They don't want to be a traitor to their team. Well, let's all come together under a new team, under a third team. I'll get to more of that after the break. It is WYSL, a free solution. Thank you so much for tuning in.
pray for the USA. AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for today. Looking at a mixture of sun and clouds, more clouds in the afternoon than this morning. There will be a chance for a passing shower and isolated thunderstorm, but a lot of the day will be rain-free. Temperatures today near 80 degrees. For tonight, partly cloudy, will drop back into the 60s, and on Tuesday, more of the same, some sun, some clouds, touch more humid, chance of a shower or thunderstorm. I'm Rich Cornelia, WYSL.
Oh, those injury attorney ads.
So sad. That's all money he should have been able to spend on radio and TV ads.
That injury attorney buying breakfast for a crash test.
Exactly.
Literally nothing amusing. At least he would have been walked back together after a personal injury or a motorcycle accident, or when you need defense for a DWI charge. Christopher Johnson takes your case seriously, and you'll feel like you're his only client because when you meet with him, your case gets one.
Okay, we have a caller. We have Keith from Rochester.
And magic phone numbers.
Yeah, he called last hour too.
Write this number down and keep it with you. 585-415-3803. 415-3803. After all, Christopher Johnson knows you're no dummy. Get individual attention and integrity, experience, and expertise. Put the power of one on your legal team. 415-3803. Stay safe, be healthy, drive sober. Christopher Johnson, attorney, personal injury, car or motorcycle accident. DWI Defense.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Forget the fluff and silly stuff. Get the facts right now. Only on News 1040 AM.
Your family is growing, and it's time for a new home. Why buy a used house with someone else's style when you can afford a new Faber home built to suit your taste and your needs? Start fresh, build new with Faber. Faber Homes can customize your home to meet your wishes and dreams. Faber Homes is now building in 6 locations. Visit the Faber Homes website at faberhomes.com and find the plan of your dreams or a quick deliver home. Give Faber Homes a call today at 247-4800 or visit faberhomes.com for our current incentives. Faber Homes, great price.
Rethink your relationship with barbecue. Johnny B's Custom Barbecue in Lima brings Southern hospitality to the crossroads of Western New York. Serving in the traditional Southern style of first come, first served, it's the only way to serve the freshest barbecue around, never reheated. All Johnny B's barbecue sauces and sides are homemade with real molasses and brown sugar. Dine in or take out Wednesdays through Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. or until sold out.
So until you get done with Keith, I'll keep this feed active to make sure you hear him okay.
Sealing and paving, installing new driveways and parking lots, seal coating too.
And obviously, if you want me to pot him down and you're done with him, just say, hey, Keith, thanks for the call.
18 months for qualified buyers. Serving Monroe, Livingston, and Ontario counties. WNYPave.com. Seal coating, paving, plus concrete sidewalks and patios. Call 247-8466 or visit WNYPave.com. Western New York Sealing and Paving. Make your asphalt great again.
Avon Gun and Hunting Supply, a locally owned and operated gun shop specializing in pre-owned firearms and repairs. Get your rifle, shotgun, or pistol serviced and tuned before you take it to the field. Open Tuesday through Saturday. Avon Gun and Hunting Supply, East Main Street, next to the Bank of Castile.
Open Door Mission helped me and my young boys when I was in the need for food and clothing. It was a hand up that we needed to get through a rough patch in our lives.
Be the relief. OpenDoorMission.com.
Thank you.
WYSL.
No more restrictions on legal firearms or licensed owners. Punish the
Okay,
criminal
last spot.
law-abiding gun owners. Contact town, county, and state lawmakers and stand up for the Second Amendment. Learn more. Visit MonroeCountyScope.com.
A free solution on the WYSL stations.
We are back on a free solution on WYSL. I have a caller on the line, but first I want to get to a few of the comments here. Patty says, think of the question, what would you give up for your freedom? If you have to give something up, are you free? Probably not. Probably not, Patty. Michelle says, we don't have a mayor. I never go into town. I stay on my hill and leave everyone alone. Neighbors. You know, Michelle, and as long as they leave you alone, that sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Ron Helton, the CFR, they want to be the only ones who dictate policy. And the CFR is a federal, it's the Federal Regulations Commission or whatever they are. And he's right. We have a lot of things statewide and nationwide that aren't laws. I mean, just look at the COVID lockdowns. None of that stuff was law. It was just regulations made by health departments just because I said so. And there's no recourse for those guys because they're not voted in. They're just appointed. I mean, literally Anthony Fauci. Same story there. Patty, she chimes in again. This isn't left versus right. It's stand up together and take down the two-party system. What do we do when third parties are under attack? Stand up, fight back. I agree, Patty. Got to keep on fighting. Got to keep on keeping on. Patty also says that she hasn't interacted with me specifically. She says she's a left-leaning libertarian, former Bernie 62-year-old hippie. My goal is to get left and right-leaning people to talk and realize we agree on a lot more than we disagree on. And I think that's my point all of the time, Patty, is we wouldn't know that we hated so many people unless that magic box on the wall told us so. And I think it's very tough to get out of that sometimes because you start to believe it. I learned in school, one of the things public school did teach me is you should never believe anything you see on television. I feel like we now just watch it uncritically. So yeah, I agree. I think we do have a lot more to agree on and that we need to fight. And that's what I'm always trying to show people, listen, those people you think you're fighting are not the people. You need to fight the people above you, the ones that are passing the rules, that are passing the laws, because those are the ones that are really going to hurt you. Ron says, I got the name wrong on what I was talking about. He says the CFR is the Council on Foreign Relations. They're traitors to the Constitution in America, but they hold the reins of power, and most Americans are asleep. They're pushing for a one world government. Yeah, you see this too, Ron. I'm not going to get too much into it, but yes, we have been trending more and more towards one central ruler, whether that's in the state, nationally, or worldwide. Everybody has to kowtow to the same rules, to the same leader, to the same whatever. And it's just, the reality is that that's not going to work. And if we would just accept that and not do it in the first place, that would be better. Unfortunately, I think we're going to have to try it and fail at it by the looks of it, because people aren't trying to steer the direction of the ship back. Not enough people aren't, I should say. That's why shows like this are important, though. That's why the left and the right alliance that Michelle was talking about, as a 62-year-old Bernie supporter, that's the proof right there that you need conservatives. There's a 62-year-old Bernie bro. Sorry, I don't mean to call you a bro, Michelle, but that's the term, right? A Bernie gal. Here on this right-leaning news channel, we're bringing them together, and that's the only way to beat the duopoly. I know I have a proud conservative on the line, Keith from Rochester. I'm not beating up on conservatives, Keith. I know you're one of them. I'm beating up on your party a little bit and your party leadership.
If you don't beat up on my fellow conservatives, I will. I am conservative, registered, and I agree Mr. Sharp should have been allowed on the ballot. The New York Conservative Party has a lot to answer for. Let's dissect quickly the problem. President Calvin Coolidge from the 1920s was credited with saying the federal government should fit inside a bathtub. The problem is we are an aging society, and twofold, prices are going up so that most people can't keep up. And then, unfortunately, they turn to the government looking for solutions, including actual entitlements. So I'm very much a capitalist. And this even goes back to another early president, Theodore Roosevelt, who was the first Republican who tried to bring in some kind of national health care. The problem with capitalism is that even though, in the words of President Kennedy, all ships are supposed to rise with the rising tide, many Americans are left behind and human nature takes over. So unfortunately, they naturally, to say it, look to the government. In closing, we have to get people off the government teat. We have to find a way for capitalism to be more realistic, not to be socialist, but to find a way really in JFK's words of having all of those boats rise, if at all possible. Like it or not, amongst us capitalists, too many people are left behind. And until we find a way of beating down government and making it the size of a bathtub, there are just too many hands out there reaching for those government freebies. And so whether it's the Libertarian Party, and I'm saying this to my fellow conservatives, because we don't often, I know in closing that people often describe themselves as conservative libertarians or vice versa, but we have to come together, conservatives and libertarians, and see this through. But so many people are just sheep. So many Republicans are just flat out cowardly, and they are a part of the swamp. Until we get more honest people in there and away from the true sociopaths who want to govern our every move, we're going to be at a loss in this country, and I'm really fearful of our future. I just am. I don't see enough strong, proud Americans coming forward. I just don't.
Keith, I love everything you're saying. If you could see me, my neck's gonna break because I'm nodding so much. I agree with everything you just said. The one thing that I will say about the capitalism, right, is we don't have capitalism. We haven't for a long, long time. We have corporatism. We have industries that have been captured by corporations through the government. So yes, it is a problem when people can't get off the dole, because I think a lot of people do want to get off the dole. But what are they going to do? They can't open up their own business, because as soon as they do that, they have to pay licensing fees. They have to pay extra super duper tax, And why am I going to do that? Just to give someone else all my hard-earned money? I'll take someone else's hard-earned money. That seems like it makes more sense. So we built a system where in order to compete, you have to have a bunch of lawyers, you have to have a bunch of money, and then you get the corner on the market. You get to pay off a couple politicians, you get to win. That's good. Great. Sounds great. If you don't have any of that stuff, good luck. You get to crawl for the breadcrumbs. Yep. So yes, I agree with you. The capitalism that we have, if you want to call it that, does leave a lot of people away, which is why you'll see a lot of the policies that Larry talks about is about getting rid of all those corporate capture barriers that there are, letting people make decisions for themselves, letting people run their own businesses, run their own lives, trying to facilitate that by getting the government out of the way, I think is the way that we can fix this. I don't know if Keith left me, but it sounds like you might have. I appreciate the call, Keith. Thank you so much for giving your opinion. I like it. You said it, you dropped the mic, and you got out of there. Because, honestly, I couldn't have said it better. I agree with Keith. I think we do need to come together because they have you distracted. Again, it's once you realize that anyone who is an established candidate does not care about you, could not care less about you. Once you realize that, oh my God, it becomes so easy to not care about them, to not care about a word they say. They have you mesmerized. And I don't know if me screaming and yelling on the radio is going to unmesmerize people, but I was mesmerized once. I was convinced that the Republicans were the way. I mean, I wasn't a hardcore supporter, but I knew I wasn't a Democrat, and I knew I had to go out there and vote for Republicans because they were the only ones that were going to save anything. Yeah, they're not going to save anything. Not here in New York State. No, sirree. They're going to keep Larry Sharp off the ballot. That's what they're good at. Republicans are really good at that. What if they used what if they used a fancy lawyer, some money, or like goodwill or to do literally anything to make anybody's life better instead of using it to fight Larry Sharp to be on the ballot? This is my point. All the effort that these slime balls, I'll call them that, they're in the swamp, they're slimy. All of the efforts that they put forth are not to help you. All of the efforts they put forth are to make themselves look good and make sure their meal tickets keep cashing in. That's all they care about. And that's why the Republicans can't lose their second place seat, because they don't care about making change. They don't care about winning. They care about the grift here in New York State. Lee Zeldin, he wants your money. He can't win. What's he going to do? Nothing. Patty says I got an echo going on. I think that was on the phone call. The way that we had the audio set up, sometimes it echoes. Someone like you and I should never agree, Patty says. Larry and I should be fighting. Tim, Kevin, and I should never have a chance to discuss anything, let alone agree. Keith and I shouldn't ever meet and have a civil conversation. Sharp and Yang are an example to follow. We all need to start listening. I agree, Patty. Because they'll tell you that you shouldn't agree, right? You shouldn't talk. Then you'll never come up with a solution, let alone a free solution. They want to give you their solutions. It's time to break out of that. Time to get rid of them. I'll talk more about that coming up after the break on a free solution on WYSL in Rochester. Thank you for tuning in. It's Craig Miles on a Monday.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients.
Yeah, so I'm going to mute this. Tell me if you're hearing everything just fine, because if so, in the future, I'll keep it muted so you don't get the echo during calls.
Your website, they're hands-on and love helping customers.
You still hearing everything okay?
But don't take my word for it.
Okay, I'll keep it muted then unless I have to talk to you.
An A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams, or isn't
You're welcome.
achieving
That's
your
how I do it
goals,
for
give
Larry.
the
So
professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Hey, this is Kevin Wilson, host of A Free Solution. You ever need a tool for just one project, but didn't want to spend the cash for something you'd use just once or twice? Well, there's a new tool library in Rochester where you can borrow just the thing you need instead of buying a new one. It's called the Tool Shed from the Southeast Area Coalition, and membership starts at just $25 a year. Use it for home projects or to support your business. Learn more and become a member at seektoolshed.org. That's SEAC toolshed.org.
Hi, Bob Savage here with a boost and good news for business owners and managers. We know it's been tough sledding with government working against you post-pandemic, so we've come up with a low-cost ad package, and for a limited time, once you're a WYSL advertiser, we'll run a bonus that's free extra schedule for job openings you're trying to fill. We'll feature your business and describe the positions you have open, all at absolutely no charge. At the WYSL stations, we're not just the voice of liberty, we're the small business friend. Call 346-3000 for details. All major credit cards welcome.
A free solution on the WYSL stations.
Back with a free solution on WYSL. My name is Craig Miles. So happy to be here with you on this beautiful, beautiful Monday. It's a good day for some freedom. I'm so excited I can't even speak. I want some freedom, and I think we can get there because I have hope. This last break or this last block, I want to talk about some of the changing tides and some of the things that give me hope on this movement. Something that pertains to this is from Ron. He says that's a hard no on Yang. Yang is for more socialism, and more socialism means more government force. No thanks. Ron, I was never I was always a hard no, yes, on Yang, just because I didn't think that giving $1,000 to everybody was a good way to help. But I never disliked the guy. And I always thought he was genuine. I always thought he was good because he had different ideas and he didn't like the system. And if you've noticed, he's gotten rid of that socialism thing lately. He's not hitting the UBI as hard, and he's focusing more on getting a third party. He's got his Forward Party now, which has endorsed Larry Sharpe. And I'm going to fight with him as much as I can on that. Fight with him, not fight him. I will fight with him for third-party access. That's what he's all about right now, is getting third parties on the ballot. And if he can do that, I mean, then we can fight about socialism later. But right now, we have the socialism. Trump gives out money. Uncle Joe gives out money. Kathy gives out money. We've got the socialism. It's here. The only way we want to fight it is to get people like Larry in office. And you can't get people like Larry in office unless you have third-party ballot access. So as long as Yang is talking that, then that's what I'm all about. And Ron agrees. He says, I don't think he's a bad person. He just doesn't get the big picture. Yeah, I think he's closer. I think he's closer talking third-party ballot access than he was with the UBI. I definitely agree with that. Patty says, 2 wings, 1 bird. I've been no party since 18. Good for you, Patty. You were unindoctrinatable. She saw that was the way all the way back then. So good for her. She caught on a little sooner than I did. And that's what I want to talk about, like I said on this last block, is about becoming unindoctrinated. I was talking with my dad the other night. We were talking about the FBI raid. And he was telling me he's a Fox News watcher. And he was telling me I can't even watch Fox News anymore. Well, he watches Fox, but Sean Hannity says, I can't even watch Sean Hannity anymore. All he does is blah, 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 blah about all the talking points that I already know, and nothing ever happens. It's just all the same. I said, whoa, hang on there, Pops. Like, yes, thank you. Thanks for coming over. He's like, I'd rather if he like told me about barbecuing or golf or something, at least then I'd learn something. And that's, yes, thank you. Thank you for recognizing it. That it's all a distraction. It's all nonsense. And there's no actual solutions being talked about. And he mentioned another, I don't know who the host was on Fox specifically, or who the senator was or congressperson or whoever it was. But there was a host on Fox interviewing some guy from Washington, some Republican. They're all the same down there. Interviewing him about the Trump raid. And he says, okay, that's all well and good, Congressman, but what are you going to do about it? Well, Trump, they shouldn't have done it. Yeah, okay, I got it. They shouldn't have done it. It's not good. What are you going to do about him? How are you going to hold the FBI accountable? Well, they shouldn't. Yes, I get it. Yes, so what are you going to do? Nothing. Had no answer because they don't have to have answers. They just have to sell you the outrage. Tell you why you got to be angry. Tell you who you got to be angry at. And make sure you don't ever get angry at them. That's why they're always pointing the fingers. That's why they're always distracting you. Because if you think for too long, you might realize, whoa, hang on, this guy's been in power for 15 years, telling me that he's the only guy that can save me, but I don't feel saved. Now I start to question whether this guy is actually worth it or not. And then he's got to remind me, well, Uncle Joe sucks. Oh, yeah, Uncle Joe sucks. Okay, we're back. No, we can't. We got to stay diligent. Don't let him distract you. Choose other alternatives. Choose a third party. I'll go on the other side of the coin now. Where I live, right down the street, there's a sign. It says Roe v. Wade on it, and then it has a stamp over it, and it says repealed. And then it says, this is what happens when you don't vote blue. And I haven't gone and knocked on this person's door because I don't feel like it's my place. But Obama promised that Roe v. Wade was going to be a thing. He says, if you elect me, I will make sure that it's codified. You will never, ever, 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 ever have to worry about getting an abortion again in the United States of America. It will be a guaranteed right to everybody. Obama did that 10 years ago. And then he said, you know what? It's not important to me. It's not a priority. He said that. Literally, words out of his mouth. Not a priority for me. And now we're all upset because the Republicans did what they said they were going to do for the past 40 years. For once in their lives, they followed through. And after 40 years, they got Roe v. Wade repealed. And now it's the Republicans' fault? When Obama told you he was going to do it, he was going to go and he was going to codify that so you didn't have to worry about it. And now you put a sign in your yard saying, this is what happens when you don't vote blue. No, this is what happens when you do vote blue. This is what happens when you do vote red. This is what happens when you vote for the duopoly, because they just say nonsense and they laugh all the way to the bank. Nancy Pelosi goes and starts World War III over in Taiwan and then comes back and gets a bunch of stock, makes a ton of money. Doesn't care. None of them care. You got to find people that actually care, people that actually have solutions. Get out of that paradigm. Don't let them lie to you. Don't let them manipulate you. Don't let them take advantage of you. I saw a comment the other day on Larry's page that said, a vote for Sharp ensures a Hochul win. I don't agree with that, but okay, let's say that. Let's say that's true. A vote for Zeldin ensures a Hochul win. I will say that. I know that's a fact. Okay, so we're even then. A vote for one or the other ensures a Hochul victory. Okay, so now we have to compete on a different ground. What's Zeldin got? What's he got? Tell me one policy of his that will make New York a better place, that will make your life better, that will make you not want to move to New Hampshire or to Tennessee or to Florida or to Texas. Tell me one thing that he has. And maybe I'll believe you. Maybe I'll say, yeah, you know what? On that, he's got it. But I don't think you can give me one. Larry Sharp's homepage, LarrySharp.com, has a list. Sharp solutions for New York. There's got to be over 25 there, at least, for everything. Affordable housing, farming, healthcare, small businesses, family, for childcare. All of these things. He has a solution. And they're all free, most of them. You can take them or leave them, too. He's not getting rid of the option, the government option. It's a soft landing into a parallel society, into a third way. That's what we need. We need to find a parallel way. Something better than this.
Wrap up.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, we're getting close to the break there. Thanks.
Cooler nights lately should remind you.
Have a good one. Good job. Bye.
Months will soon be replaced by bitter cold. If you think today's gas prices are out of control, think what it might cost to heat your home or business this winter. Here's how to slash those costs. With Air & More infrared zone heaters, you may save up to 50% compared to just using your furnace. Turn down your central